toaster going off all the time. Probably I tried and then I hated it. Yeah, radio in the morning, 9 o'clock. Of course, I don't mind. Thank you very much, Mr. Takashima. My name is Rie Hiramatsu. Thank you very much for coming here tonight. I'm sure you have a busy schedule. I really appreciate it. And I live in Yorkshire at the moment, but until last February, I lived in central London. And I would like to show you where exactly I lived in London. Well, probably in about half an hour or so. And this time I made my second visit in Fukuoka in my life. Last time was, I'd like to say a few years ago, but a few decades ago in my school excursion. So yes, that was literally like a few years ago. But I'm really enjoying it, and really, like, I was really taken by, a little bit surprised and impressed by the atmosphere that this city has, really. Although I've been in this city for now, 3 hours? But like vibrant, really active, which is quite different from some of the, well, I will not identify where, but I am originally from Nagoya, and Nagoya is one of the big cities in Japan, and it has its own beauty and attractions, but it's not the same. It's one of the rapidly aging cities. So Fukuoka, it has a completely different energy, I think, and that is down to your efforts as well, Mr. Takashima, because he shared his philosophy and his dream earlier when we met for the first time. We really clicked, didn't we? Yes, I was really impressed. And my background, well, this is not exactly a background, but if any of you recognize where this is, clues here. This is in Poland. That was the concert hall where the assembly took place, and this is one of the temporary interpreting booths. Yeah, it's quite crammed, isn't it? But at least you can see from these small windows the stage, the speakers, because that's what interpreters really need to be able to see and follow the movement, really, how the event is proceeding. And when you're not using it, you can close it down like this, and you can make it discreet. The thing is, look, this is a French booth, not Japanese booth. Look, this is our Japanese booth. It's not a booth. It was actually like a storage room, storage space even. It was not even a room. And this is where we were, 3 of us. The American interpreter, anyway. She was really a friendly person, very busy. And because in that week, probably we worked together for 5, 6 days. Every day, she didn't have 5 minutes to herself, I would say. Like really, really busy schedule on stage, talking to a magazine audience, doing this, Twitter Live, be here and there, like back to back. But she was really, really pleasant because she has to prepare herself in any moment. It can be like just before midnight or whatever, but she has to look like she's so fresh, right? Professional. So I really liked her. And next, this is Mr. Wexa. And I was not supposed to be on stage. And I don't know exactly what happened. And then I didn't know what kind of act he was going to do. So my first question, after asking him his name, when we met for the first time, so what kind of act are you going to do? I asked, are you going to sing? Are you going to dance? Are you going to do a magic show, magic trick? It's like, neither. Okay, what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to strip off my clothes. Really? That was how it started, and then how it panned out. Because I wasn't told who it was until the last minute. And I suppose I was not supposed to know what it really entailed. And including that I was going to be on the stage as well. But anyway, the thing was, here you can see he's not wearing earphones. I'm not wearing earphones. We're wearing microphones, but that was it. And if you envisage, okay, this can be our stage there, then Mr. Wexa and I were standing around here, let's say. And then the speakers for the audience is far out there. So the audience can hear everything, but for us, yes, we can hear something, but not words. Words weren't clear. So we were like, what did he say? But because time was getting on, time is always of the essence, we had to kind of improvise. So some of the questions, and also that he was asked to come, but of course the first question was like, okay, why did you want to participate in this? Well, I was asked to come, but he can't say. So because you give me big chance or something like that. So, but it was a great experience, and he was also friendly. He came with big suitcases with all the props. And so I really loved experiencing to help him pack away again. So lots of people thought that I was his manager. As you can see, that's not where I lived, but this is where I lived. Some of you may have visited the changing of the guard in London, and where the new guard starts. That's where I lived. I tell you why. Actually, I've never been to the other side, the Buckingham Palace, where the old guard is based and coming back. The reason why I was fortunate enough to live in such a noisy place, very convenient, because you cannot be really any more central than this. But it's like living outside the Imperial Palace. Is it noisy living in Imperial Palace? I don't know. But very hustle bustle, I think. So this is my husband. He was a drummer in the Queen's Guard. Yes, that's him. And this was a shot from his last guard. So that was last year. So after this work, we moved elsewhere. But this is how they did. So probably if some of you have visited London and then saw the changing of the guard, probably watching from the other side of this fence, I think. Actually, if it hasn't changed, if you go to Buckingham Palace, and it will show what time the changing of the guard ceremony starts, in English, of course, and maybe French, don't know, but in Japanese. not in Mandarin. Somehow Japanese, it shows, I think, how many Japanese people go there and really appreciate it. I thought that was fantastic, really. And this is not in Buckingham Palace. It's the opposite from the Buckingham Palace, which is just across the St. James's Park. It's called the Horse Guards Parade. The guards on the horse on the other side. And this was from the Queen's birthday parade. So my husband did for 25 years. For me, it was going to be my 10th when the Meghan was going to participate for the first time, but I got sick. So I missed it. I was so gutted.
Rachel, right?
Rachel? Richard, yes.
Rachel. I mean,
Rachel.
have you been to see Suits on Netflix or something?
Sweet.
Yeah, Rachel, right?
Okay, I haven't seen that one. Yeah. Did you like it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, but now,
But she doesn't like a royal family, right?
well, Megxit. But today is the day of Brexit.
Okay.
Terrible.
Have you ever been to London before?
Yeah,
Wow.
right. Yeah. After coming back from Northern Ireland, where I studied master's degree in media, I decided to get divorced, and then I had to find a way to feed ourselves. Around then, a friend of mine, Mama Tomo, yes, asked me to kind of help her out, taking parts in the interpreting team, although she knew that I had no experience as an interpreter, because I had no inclination to become an interpreter. I was not interested. I was more interested in doing something else with using English. There are lots of people like that, right? Because languages are tools. So that's how I was feeling as well. But when I went, by the way, it was the Volleyball World Cup '99 for men's. That was taking place in Osaka. I think that was a tradition anyway. And for women, it was Nagoya. So that's how I got myself involved. And then I thought it was like, okay. I didn't think it was a piece of cake, but I said, okay, I'm just doing, being there, helping my friend. But it was not very successful. I didn't really fail, but I didn't really feel satisfied with what I achieved or didn't achieve. So I thought to give more try.
Okay.
So that's how I started.
Okay, so the volleyball tournament was held in UK?
This was in Nagoya, yeah.
So in Nagoya?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's been 20 years since the debut.
Okay.
So was mine. Very different.
Is it you? Oh.
No, it's Arashi. I thought they were girls almost.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Arashi.
Arashi. Yes. Yes. I could see them.
I never ever about 30 years ago. 20 years
That's
ago.
20 years ago. Yes.
I see. Oh, no wonder we are getting old.
Exactly. They got matured and they're men. Handsome men. I thought they were like girls.
You bet. I agree. Okay, somebody else.
Your views to the English education in Japan.
Okay. Am I allowed to give my very honest opinion without thinking about
Sure.
being it realistic or not?
Be my guest. Go ahead.
Immersion instead of translation method. Get rid of translation. Yes, it has its point or its importance to it, but you can't teach everything at the same time. I think immersion, but immersion doesn't mean just all English. it needs creativity by the teachers and also the teams of teachers. I'm not a teacher, so I'm sorry. Hate me if you will. But just my, outsider's point of view. But like in Belgium, where the language education is very successful, I asked them, and they said that they do have an immersion. And then I knew a girl who lives in Belgium, Belgian girl, didn't speak a word of English when she was, say, 10, but she was watching Simpsons in English with the subtitles. And then I suppose she could kind of pick up words, but very passive. But she was not understanding English fully or appreciating it. And then 2 years or 3 years after French, well, because she was speaking Flemish, Dutch basically. Then German, I think. Although they make mistakes, they could converse without hesitation. Sometimes they say, like vacancy for vacation. That can happen, but they were not really like shy about trying out. I think that's important.
I guess that closes our meeting. I would like to give back a microphone to Nozaki-san. Before that, please give her a big applause.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
For a wonderful
Sam.
presentation.
Thank you.